You're listening to the CyberWire Network, powered by N2K.
When it comes to ensuring your company has top-notch security practices, things can get complicated fast. Vanta automates compliance for SOC 2, ISO 27001, HIPAA, and more, saving you time and money. With Vanta, you can streamline security reviews by automating questionnaires and demonstrating your security posture with a customer-facing trust center. Over 7,000 global companies like Atlassian, Flow Health, and Quora use Vanta to manage risk and prove security in real time. Our listeners can claim a special offer of $1,000 off Vanta at vanta.com/cyber. That's VANTA.com/cyber for $1,000 off Vanta. Cisco Talos uncovers vulnerabilities in Microsoft applications for macOS. OpenAI disrupts an Iranian influence campaign. Jewish Home Lifecare discloses a data breach affecting over 100,000. Google tests an auto-redaction feature in Chrome for Android. Unicoin informs the SEC that it was locked out of G Suite for 4 days. House lawmakers raise concerns over China-made Wi-Fi routers. Moody's likens the switch to post-quantum cryptography to the Y2K bug. Diversity-focused tech nonprofits grapple with flagging support. Tim Starks of CyberScoop is back to discuss his investigation of a Russian hacking group targeting human rights groups. And smartphones get some street smarts. It's Monday, August 19th, 2024. I'm Dave Bittner, and this is your CyberWire Intel Briefing. Happy Monday, and thank you for joining us here today. Researchers from Cisco Talos discovered 8 vulnerabilities in various Microsoft applications for macOS, including Teams, Outlook, Word, PowerPoint, OneNote, and Excel. These flaws could allow attackers to access users' microphones, cameras, screen recordings, and more if the apps have been previously granted permission. The vulnerabilities stem from Microsoft's use of a specific entitlement that disables some protections in macOS's hardened runtime, which defends against risky library injections. This entitlement, intended for loading third-party plugins, is reportedly unnecessary since the only plugins used by these apps are web-based Office add-ins. While Microsoft considers these issues low risk, they have updated Teams and OneNote to remove the entitlement, but Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, and Word remain vulnerable. These vulnerabilities could enable attackers to exploit the app's permissions without alerting users. OpenAI recently uncovered and disrupted an Iranian influence campaign that used its generative AI technologies, like ChatGPT, to spread misinformation online. The campaign, dubbed Storm 2035, aimed to influence various topics, including the U.S. presidential election, by generating and posting content on social media and websites. Despite the sophisticated use of AI, OpenAI reported that the campaign did not gain significant traction or engagement from real users. The company has since banned several accounts linked to the effort. This incident highlights the growing concerns about the potential misuse of generative AI in spreading disinformation, particularly during election periods. OpenAI has previously identified and disrupted other similar campaigns from state actors and private entities in countries like Russia, China, and Israel, all attempting to sway public opinion using AI-generated content. Jewish Home Lifecare, a New York City-based nonprofit healthcare organization now known as the New Jewish Home, disclosed that a data breach affected over 104,000 individuals earlier this year. The breach, discovered on January 7th, involved unauthorized access to sensitive information, including names, addresses, social security numbers, financial details, and medical records. Despite no evidence of misuse, the organization is offering complimentary credit monitoring to those affected. The ransomware group Alpha, also known as Black Cat, claimed responsibility for the attack in February, alleging they had accessed various sensitive documents. However, it's unclear if these files were ever publicly released, as Black Cat's operations ceased in early March, following a law enforcement crackdown. Google is testing a new feature in Chrome for Android that will automatically redact sensitive information, like credit card details and passwords, when you're sharing or recording your screen. This feature, currently in an experimental phase, is designed to address the issue of unintentionally exposing sensitive data during screen sharing or recording. While Chrome already blocks screen capture in incognito mode, this new feature extends protection to regular tabs by redacting the entire content area if sensitive form fields are detected. The feature is not yet functional, but it will be available for testing in Chrome Canary in the coming weeks. Unicoin, a prominent cryptocurrency company, reported to the SEC that a hacker breached its systems on August 9th, gaining control of the company's Google G Suite accounts and locking out all employees. The hack left employees without access for nearly 4 days until the company regained control on August 13th. Unicoin is still investigating the incident to assess the full impact, including discrepancies found in employee and contractor data. Although no money or digital assets appear to have been stolen, traces of hacked messages were discovered in certain managers' email accounts. The company also terminated a contractor who had forged their identity, though it's unclear if this is linked to North Korean hacking schemes. This attack highlights ongoing concerns about North Korean cyber activities, which have resulted in significant thefts from cryptocurrency companies worldwide. Top lawmakers on the House Select Committee on U.S.-China issues are urging the Commerce Department to investigate TP-Link Technologies, a Chinese company that produces widely used Wi-Fi routers in the U.S. Representatives John Moolenaar and Raja Krishnamurthy raised concerns in a letter to Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, highlighting potential national security risks. They noted that TP-Link's routers are commonly used in U.S. homes and military bases, and the company's compliance with Chinese laws could expose these devices to exploitation by the Chinese government for cyber attacks. The lawmakers referenced industry reports indicating TP-Link routers have been targeted by Chinese hacking groups in malicious campaigns. They requested a response by the end of the month, assessing the security risks and how existing authorities could address them. New research from Moody's warns that advances in quantum computing will eventually threaten current encryption methods, necessitating a costly and lengthy transition to post-quantum cryptography, PQC. The transition, focusing on asymmetric encryption, could take 10 to 15 years due to operational challenges, including updating hard-to-reach devices like satellites and legacy systems. The shift is compared to the Y2K bug in terms of scale and complexity, although the cost is hard to estimate. Quantum computing could break existing encryption methods using algorithms like Shor's, posing a significant risk to data security. Despite challenges in error correction, scalability, and talent shortages, Moody's urges swift adoption of quantum-resistant algorithms to protect against future threats, emphasizing the importance of international cooperation in quantum science and technology. A story in the Washington Post tells the tale of Girls in Tech, a nonprofit organization dedicated to increasing the representation of women in the tech industry. It was once a Silicon Valley success story. Founded in 2007 by Adriana Gastioni, the organization quickly became a darling of the tech world, attracting major corporate partnerships and growing its membership to 130,000. However, by late 2023, the organization faced an unexpected and rapid decline, leading to its dissolution in July. The turning point came when 5 key corporate donors abruptly pulled their funding within a single week, citing economic uncertainties and market turbulence. This financial blow left girls in tech struggling to stay afloat. Gascioni, in a desperate bid to save the organization, considered merging with Women Who Code, another nonprofit with a similar mission that had strong backing from tech giants like Microsoft, Google, and Boeing. However, just days after discussing the possibility with her board, Women Who Code also shut down, leaving Gascioni with no viable options. The collapse of girls in tech is symptomatic of a broader retreat from diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives across the tech industry. These initiatives, once heavily promoted by companies as part of their commitment to diversifying a workforce dominated by white and Asian men, have come under increasing political and financial pressure. Despite the initial optimism surrounding these initiatives, the demographics of the tech industry have remained largely stagnant. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, women made up just 26% of the workforce in STEM fields in 2022, a mere 1 percentage point increase since the year 2000. At Google, the percentage of Black employees in the U.S. rose by only 2.4 percentage points between 2019 and 2024, leaving them still unrepresented at less than 6% of the company's workforce. Critics argue that DEI programs have often failed to address the deeper systemic issues within tech companies. Some diversity consultants have noted that as tech companies lay off DEI teams, they are also offering fewer contracts to external consultants who were crucial in supporting these efforts. The overall climate has made it difficult for nonprofits like Girls in Tech to sustain their operations, as corporate leaders quietly withdraw their support. The retreat from DEI initiatives in the tech industry reflects a broader shift in how companies view these programs. What was once seen as a critical effort to diversify the tech workforce is now increasingly viewed through a political lens, leading to reduced funding and support. The collapse of Girls in Tech and similar organizations underscores the fragile nature of diversity efforts in an industry still grappling with deep-seated disparities. Coming up after the break, Tim Starks from CyberScoop joins us to discuss his investigation of a Russian hacking group targeting human rights groups. Stay with us. And now, a word from our sponsor, KnowBe4. It's all connected, and we're not talking conspiracy theories. When it comes to InfoSec tools, effective integrations can make or break your security stack. The same should be true for security awareness training. KnowBe4, provider of the world's largest library of security awareness training, provides a way to integrate your existing security stack tools to help you strengthen your organization's security culture. KnowBe4's Security Coach uses standard APIs to quickly and easily integrate with your existing security products from vendors like Microsoft, CrowdStrike, and Cisco, 35 vendor integrations and counting. Security Coach analyzes your security stack alerts to identify events related to any risky security behavior from your users. Use this information to set up real-time coaching campaigns targeting risky users based on those events from your network, endpoint, identity, or web security vendors. Then coach your users at the moment the risky behavior occurs, with contextual security tips delivered via Microsoft Teams, Slack, or email. Learn more at knowbefore.com/securitycoach. That's knowbefore.com/securitycoach. And we thank KnowBe4 for sponsoring our show. Enterprises today are using hundreds of SaaS apps. Are you reaping their productivity and innovation benefits, or are you lost in the sprawl? Enter Savvy Security. They help you surface every SaaS app, identity, and risk, so you can shine a light on shadow IT and risky identities. Savvy monitors your entire SaaS attack surface to help you efficiently eliminate toxic risk combinations and prevent attacks. So go on, get savvy about SaaS and harness the productivity benefits. Fuel innovation while closing security gaps. Visit savvy.security to learn more. It is always my pleasure to welcome back to the show Tim Starks. He is a senior reporter at CyberScoop. Tim, great to have you back.
And it is always my pleasure to be back.
Well, I want to talk about the story that you recently posted over on CyberScoop. This is titled Russian Hacking Campaign Targets Rights Groups, Media, Former U.S. Ambassador. What drew you to this story here, Tim?
Yeah, it was obviously Russians hacking people that they don't like isn't that new. I think what I found most compelling about this is the way they did it. It was a very, not technically sophisticated campaign, but sophisticated in the sense that they really knew who they were going for. They pretended to be acquaintances, friends, even family when they were going after the people that they were going after with their lures. And there were some compromises, or at least the people who clicked on the links. It was a reminder that with all the things going on with Iran and going after our presidential campaigns, that Russia remains a big player in that space.
Well, let's fly up to a little higher level here. Can you describe to me exactly what Russia was after here with this campaign?
Yeah, so this was a research from Access Now and University of Toronto's Citizen Lab. This is a group that is affiliated with the FSB, the Russian security agency. Well, one of the groups. There was another group as well that appears to be new, but still to be determined on exactly who they are. We had Cold River, and we had Cold Wastrel, which is a great name, I think. But ultimately, they were going after the same kind of targets and using the same kind of similar techniques. And basically, if you were an enemy of Russia, this group was going after you. We're talking about media outlets. We're talking about, as you mentioned, the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. We're talking about civil rights groups, civil liberties groups, that civil society groups that were active on pursuing Russian corruption. And what it seemed like they were interested in was, just gathering intelligence, but also maybe potentially hacking and leaking is some of the fears of one of the groups I talked to that got targeted. And also maybe using if they were able to compromise anybody, using those credentials to continue to fake emails that would lure other people.
Is this campaign particularly brazen by Russian standards?
They stay pretty brazen, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't think it was particularly brazen. It was similar targeting we've seen from them, but I think what really stuck out to me was the techniques that were pretty advanced. But in terms of who they're going after, they don't have a lot of hesitation about going after groups like this. This is very much part and parcel.
Well, let's talk some about the techniques. What were they doing here?
Yeah, they were. So they were using Proton Mail, which is another thing that was kind of interesting. They were using a very kind of email that is known for being encrypted, secure. The lures that were designed to get people to click on a PDF that would lead to a fake login page. But I think I mentioned that there was a publisher of one of the organizations that I talked to. And I feel bad because I don't want to mispronounce the name of the organization. Prokt, I believe, a investigative news site that reports on Russian government stuff. They got an email from someone from another purported news organization. The idea was to discuss a partnership they already had, and the email was offering a presentation for a new project. The idea was to get them to click on that, and then they would go. The idea would be then to go drag them to a fake login page that would they'd enter their credentials.
Putting all this through the lens that we are on final approach to the U.S. elections here, how does this inform folks looking to defend us from these sorts of things, given that reality?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just something of a reminder that there are still players. I mean, we've heard a lot about Iran and what it's been doing with the Trump campaign and targeting the Biden-Harris campaign. But Russia's the OG of this in a certain way, right? They're going after campaigns and going after the elections, going back to 2016 and even before. Similar tactics, similar objectives. Wanting to the hack and leak thing is very dangerous. We've seen it before, that it can really potentially influence an outcome of an election. And this, I think it was John Scott Railton who said to me in the story that this is a reminder that no matter how much you call them out, no matter how much you say they're doing this, they're going to keep coming, and we have an election coming up, and that's just a thing we need to be on the lookout for.
Yeah. Well, the article again is titled "Russian Hacking Campaign Targets Rights Groups Media Former U.S. Ambassador." It is over on CyberScoop, where Tim Starks is a senior reporter. Tim, thanks so much for taking the time for us.
Thanks, Dave.
The IT world used to be simpler. You only had to secure and manage environments that you controlled. Then came new technologies and new ways to work. Now, employees, apps, and networks are everywhere. This means poor visibility, security gaps, and added risk. That's why Cloudflare created the first-ever connectivity cloud. Visit cloudflare.com to protect your business everywhere you do business. And finally, imagine if your smartphone could outsmart a thief in the act. Well, Google's new AI-powered theft detection lock feature is about to make that a reality. Rolling out to Android 10 and later devices, this nifty tool uses AI to sense when your phone's been snatched, like Sherlock Holmes, but faster, instantly locking it down to keep your data safe. It's like your phone knows when it's being kidnapped and slams the door in the crook's face. Initially teased back in May, this feature is part of Google's anti-theft suite, designed to protect your device before, during, and after a theft. It's currently being beta tested in Brazil, with a global rollout to follow. And for those who are extra cautious, Android 15 will make it harder for thieves to factory reset your device or access your sensitive apps. So, your smartphone won't just be smart, it'll be street smart. And that's the CyberWire. For links to all of today's stories, check out our daily briefing at thecyberwire.com. Don't forget to check out the Grumpy Old Geeks podcast, where I contribute to a regular segment on Jason and Brian's show every week. You can find Grumpy Old Geeks where all the fine podcasts are listed. We'd love to know what you think of this podcast. Your feedback ensures we deliver the insights that keep you a step ahead in the rapidly changing world of cybersecurity. If you like our show, please share a rating and review in your favorite podcast app. Please also fill out the survey in the show notes or send an email to cyberwire@n2k.com. We're privileged that N2K CyberWire is part of the daily routine of the most influential leaders and operators in the public and private sector, from the Fortune 500 to many of the world's preeminent intelligence and law enforcement agencies. N2K makes it easy for companies to optimize your biggest investment, your people. We make you smarter about your teams while making your team smarter. Learn how at n2k.com. This episode was produced by Liz Stokes. Our mixer is Trey Hester, with original music and sound design by Elliot Peltzman. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. Our executive editor is Brandon Karp. Simone Petrella is our president, Peter Kilpie is our publisher, and I'm Dave Bittner. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Strata is your solution for securing on-prem and cloud apps without the hassle of refactoring. Modernize legacy systems with MFA or passwordless authentication and ensure continuous identity availability across multi-cloud environments. Say goodbye to tech debt and hello to seamless integration. Strata helps you reduce stress and gain control over your identity architecture, enhancing security and efficiency. Join industry leaders like 3M, Navy Federal, and Kroger who trust Strata for their identity needs. Visit strata.io/cyberwire to share your biggest identity challenge and receive a complimentary pair of AirPods Pro. Don't miss out. Transform your identity management today at strata.io/cyberwire. And our thanks to Strata for being a longtime friend and supporter of this podcast.